Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's workshop titled Fostering Communication with Beginners. My name is Tatiana Ruiz Moreno, and I am a teacher. I'm currently registered in the course Teacher Development and at the University Nacional Abierta a Distancia. Today, we will explore some practical ways to help our beginner students speak more confidently and participate actively in English. So before we start, I would like you to please make sure your microphone is muted unless you're speaking, and feel free to use the chat to share ideas or ask questions at any time. So before we start, I would like to share a warm-up activity. So just give me 1 second. Perfect. So before we start, let's just start with a short warm-up, just to share some ideas and some insights. So I would like everyone to think for a moment about your first English class, either as a student or as a teacher. So again, take a look at the chat box, please. So just think about your first English class. It could be when you had your first class, your first English class, or when you were a teacher, when you started as a teacher, I mean. So just take a moment, take a minute to think about it, and please share your experience. Let me know when you're ready and raise your hand or open your mic if you want to share. Jair, go ahead.
Okay, I remember like when I was a student, the teacher asked some short questions, something like that, to introduce the topic.
How was your
And
experience? Did you like it? Did you like your first class, your English class as a student? Was it difficult for you?
well, yeah. So I would say like when I was a student, a beginner, I would say like um shy guy. I mean, so it was the first time talking with someone in English, and it was meeting new people. Obviously, it was can be
Thank you, Jair.
difficult in that
Okay,
way, right?
great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? So try to remember how was your experience when you had to speak in English for the first time, when you had to participate with other students or with your teacher. David, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I remember it was back in 2008. I was studying in Bogota in a public high school, and at that moment there were some new cutting edge advantages, like a digital board. So the school was provided with a lot of digital resources in order to practice English. And since that moment, I fall in love with English. I fell in love. It was amazing. The experience of having a digital board in which you can practice, you could solve a lot of exercises. It was amazing.
Nice.
So I decided to study English because of that.
And do you remember how was your first experience as a teacher, like your first class?
Formally, after my degree or before my degree,
It doesn't
uh,
matter, like the one that you can remember.
as a teacher, it was like in 2017, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
I was a pre-service teacher in the university, and it was with a group of elders. It was kind of, I don't know, kind of frustrating because I just wanted to do a lot of things. I had different resources. I had different activities, but according to their ages, it was almost impossible to advance because of the topic, but it was challenging but lovely.
Nice. Thank you, Dave. Vic?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
My first English class was when I was 14, maybe years old. The teacher introduced basic readings and we practiced simple dialogues. I was kind of shy and I made a lot of mistakes, but the teacher encouraged everyone to introduce themselves, so I felt more comfortable. And after that, the same, I felt more confident to try speaking.
Interesting. And how do you think your students feel when they have to practice speaking in your class, like the
I,
beginners?
I think that they feel the same as I once was feeling. I mean, nervous. They are not mm, like very confident of the things that they are saying, and due to that, they I mean, they don't try to speak enough. They just barely have a conversation.
Thank you, Vic, for sharing your experience. Good. So anybody else wants to? Okay, Cito, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so hi everyone. I would like to share my experience since a student. So I was really emotional and excited about the moment. It was kind of strange and random. I remember it was in 2015. I was 19 years old in that moment. And it was really demanding for me because it was a languages class. The teachers spoke English and French at the same time. That's why I was really confused because I understood nothing. But it was like exciting. It was an exciting moment at the same time because they were like in my point of view. So I wanted to be like them.
Interesting. Thank you, Cito. Great. Diana, go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, the thing in my case, like the very first class I had when I was a student was full of anxiety, the same as the first class as a teacher. Why? Because I have always been a very anxious person. And even though at that time I did have some knowledge, some previous knowledge, because I could read and listen kind of well, I wasn't able to speak. Like literally, I would just keep on my in my comfort zone, and I wouldn't try doing anything weird as I didn't want to make mistakes. The thing was that the teachers I had were very kind, so I didn't feel that judged. So I kind of overcame that within the time. Well, yes. And in the case of when I was a teacher, the first class that I had, I was also really anxious because, as David said I had to teach elders, and I'm one of the youngest in here, so I feel kind of judged. But I did it anyway, and I overcame that fear, like few months after that first experience. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Danny. Perfect. Yes. So as we can see, those first experiences often shape how comfortable we feel speaking English, right? Just like our students. So that's why today's session is all about creating a classroom environment that helps beginners feel safe, feel motivated, and ready to communicate. So to help us reflect on this a little bit more, we're joined by experts in this topic. I would like you to introduce an experienced English teacher and an academic advisor who has worked extensively on communicative methodologies and student engagement. His name is Daniel Duque. So I would like to introduce this expert. And thank you so much for being here, Daniel. Please go ahead and share your insights and what you have to tell us a little bit more about this topic.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
So first of all, Tati, thank you for inviting me. Basically, when she told me about sharing my experience, the first thing that came to my mind was to share the strategies that you can use with newcomers or when students have like a very basic level of English, right? So in my case, currently I am teaching ESL here in North Carolina in the United States. And I have encountered different situations that you might say I wasn't prepared for, but have taught me a lot about how to teach these students or how to teach basic classes with students from different levels, okay? So the first thing that I can think about is that whenever you're teaching a class, you have to mind your lessons language progression. What does that mean? Going from sounds to words to sentences to tenses like present simple, present continuous, past simple, future, present perfect. If you skip that order when teaching your classes, that will lead to confusion or even stagnation when you're teaching your students. So that will be my first key takeaway. You need to mind where are your students, what do they know, and based on that, you have to adapt your instructions, your texts, your questions, and the exercises that you want to use with them. Just to give you an example, if the only thing they know is how to speak in present simple and can for ability, and then you present them a text with phrases in present perfect or in past simple, they will be just confused trying to figure out what that means. Okay, so that's the first key. Mind your students' language progression. The second one is empathy. Empathy means action. It's not only liking your students or understand, you think that you understand what they are going through. No, you have to really empathize with them. That means put yourself in their place. Yes, they are in an environment where they don't really understand much of what is being said. So you need to use a lot of TPR, that is total physical response. You need to use a lot of concept checking questions, instruction checking questions, questions that are going to make sure that you really understand that they understood. Yes. So always avoid using, do you understand? Is this clear? Because those two questions absolutely are not going to give you an insight of if they understand or not. Okay, so you rather have to use actual concept checking questions or instruction checking questions. The third key takeaway that I want to mention today is that you have to adapt. Once again, going to lesson adaptation. You need to adapt your lessons for multi-levels because most of the times, unless you're teaching one-on-one lessons, what's going to happen is that in the same basic class, you're going to have students who are more advanced, so to speak, than the others. So if you do one lesson fits for all, what happens is that the students who are more advanced are going to get bored. Or if you just follow what the students in advanced level can do, then the basic students will be lost. So here is where the power of AI comes into play. So there are several tools nowadays that you can use to adapt your lessons. You just have to be mindful of what instructions or what instructions are you giving to your AI model so that it adapts the same lesson for different types of students. So you can just upload the lesson plan that you have for your basic class and ask AI to actually give you different versions within the same level, or in some cases you have to teach multi-level in the same classroom. So you can ask AI to keep in mind your parameters so that you have different exercises, same topic for a multi-level audience. And I will say the last key takeaway that I want to mention is that social connections matter. So sometimes you might want to stop them from speaking their native language. But just remember, if they are just newcomers, if they just arrived to your lessons, if they are not able to express themselves in English yet, then they might be discouraged of coming back if they can speak with anybody else during 60 minutes because they just don't know how to. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Once again, this has to do with empathy. So if you are a talkative person and you just enjoy social connections and you want to speak Spanish for 5 minutes, okay, that's fine. Then you can move back to the topic. Just make sure they feel comfortable and they feel support. So those are the four key takeaways that I want to share with you. I don't know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Danny, for your insights. I do have one question just for you to share your ideas. So, what role does positive feedback play in student confidence from your perspective?
Well, feedback in general is necessary, right? But in my case, I think positive feedback plays a huge role in all aspects of life, right? So you want to apply, well, maybe everybody's already aware of the sandwich technique, where you have to give something positive and then maybe something that you need to improve, and then once again something positive. That's one technique. Or also you can apply the 5 to 1. So 5 things that you did well today and one thing that you want to improve. So you want to focus on the positive things rather than in all the things that they need to improve, because that might be just giving the wrong message to students that they did everything wrong. And that is not the case. They did many things well. They are doing a great effort. And of course, they need to improve some things, but you want to emphasize the positive feedback.
That will be all. Thank you so much for your time and for being here with us and sharing your experience and your ideas. Thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting me, and have a great day. Happy
Thank you,
Halloween,
Annie.
everybody.
Thank you, Annie.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Happy
Bye-bye.
Halloween.
Okay, guys, perfect. Thank you. So before letting you go, guys, because I know that you don't have much time, I just want you to identify common challenge beginners experiences that you have had in the past. And in the next activity, we're going to talk about a little bit more about it, okay? So I just want you I know that we didn't have much time today, but next time I'm gonna plan it better with more time, and that will be all, guys. Thank you so much for your time, and see you in a minute, okay? Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye
Bye,
bye.
guys. Bye,
See
guys.
ya.
Bye, guys. Thank you.